Clive Adams here, and what an exciting series we're doing here as we flash back to 2012, celebrating the 10-year anniversary of an historic World Championships, a home World Bowls Championships at Lockleys in South Australia, where Australia, the Jackaroos, grabbed 5 gold medals. One of those gold medalists was Leif Selby, of course, in the men's singles, and he joins me to reminisce. How are you, Leif?
Hi, Clive. Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. Good to see you. Looking well.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks. Look, it was a remarkable World Bowls Championships in 2012. Can you believe it's been 10 years?
10 years, it goes by, yes. I can still remember it. I'm in my 50s now, but I'm still quite sharp. I can remember some aspects. But yeah, it was a fantastic moment in my life and with the rest of the team as a group. Collectively, it was an amazing achievement, as you just pointed out, and geez, it was a historical moment to be part of that team. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we're going to test out that memory a little bit, but let's talk the lead up to it, because it was a bit of a different lead up for you, wasn't it? Because you'd won the World Champion of Champions in 2008. You'd gone on and won the World Cup as well, and then you pretty much decided to take a bit of a break. And what brought you back for World Bowls?
Yeah, 2010, I was, the Commonwealth Games was I made the announcement that was going to be my last game. My daughter, Jasmine, as a lot of people would know, was a swimmer. And the commitment she had to make to that was before and after school type thing. And her ultimate goal was to make it to the Homebush International Swimming Centre, which she did. And I was in India. It wasn't the Commonwealth Games. It was an event before that. And I knew her times that she was swimming. And I called her from over there, and she was a bit disappointed with the performance. And once I hung up the phone, I just broke down and said, "That's it. I can't." I just felt really selfish at the time, and sort of made the announcement that straight after the Com Games, that was I was going to be leaving. It's a decision I made, and I'm very proud to have made that decision. You know.
Yeah.
So my inclusion into the World Championships 2012 was 2 years later. I was actually working at St John's Park during my career at the time, and I went back down to Warilla because once I'd finished, I wasn't going to be away playing a lot. I got offered a job down there, working with some kids and stuff like that. So I took that, and just out of the blue, got a call from Steve Clayson. So a little bit of back and forth there because I hadn't been playing and I just didn't have the desire anymore, and a little bit of back and forth, and we finally agreed. So I had a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
obviously, because I was somebody who trained the house down, so I was quite disciplined in those areas. And I knew straight away that if I go back out and start training, I wasn't going to be hitting the scores or percentages that I was 18 months earlier, So, and that would immediately put doubt into my head that I wasn't ready to take on the world's best players in the World Championship singles, So basically, yeah. I took a different approach. What I'd done was I went and brought a treadmill, and I started to do all the fitness aspect of things. So every time I'd done something physical, it was, I'm in training for the World Champs, until I got my mindset right and confident, ready to go. Then I went back out onto the green and started doing some activities. And
brilliant.
So that was a big part of the development to get ready for that. That was something that I'd done. It's a bit unorthodox, but just to get the mindset right, it worked for me.
Fantastic. Yeah. And then, of course, speaking about saying it's your last game, even in the interview before the final, you talked about again being at your potentially your last game. Did that add any pressure to you, or any sort of feelings about going into that final, thinking, well, this time it might really be it?
I always had my eye on the prize. I was focused the whole time I was there, and I really put a lot of hard work in a lot of aspects to be that way. The support that was there during the duration of that event with the other players, the support crew and stuff are amazing. They kind of just left us alone. They understand that everyone prepares themselves differently and tackles, the way they need to prepare for individual matches. And they kind of done that, which it was a little bit different, but it was really well done.
Yep.
So all the players could basically just focus on themselves and what they had to do.
Certainly worked.
Yeah, well, for me, ultimately to win the world singles at a World Championships was something that I used to fantasize about when I was about 14. I was down there. I think everybody does this. I was down there. I used to get down to a little club called Dapto Bowling Club. That's where I started. I was this little kid that was down there just about every day, waiting for the green cougar to finish rolling the green so I could get on. Mate, and every time I went out there, it looked like I was just having a roll-up on my own, but in my head, I was playing against myself in a World Singles Championship. You know what I mean? So this is something that I've dreamt about for so long. And like I said, the eye on the prize there was, it wasn't just for me, it wasn't just to win the World Singles Championship at that moment. It was I had the opportunity to win them all. If I had won that one, I'd have won all three of the World Championship, the different singles titles.
Incredible achievement.
Yeah, so I never took my focus off the prize, and I'm quite proud of myself for doing that.
Well, let's have a look at a look into the final. Of course, the Ryan Bester, a windy day in Adelaide, so you know what Ryan's going to bring. You know the game plan he is going to play. He's going to be attacking. He's going to be at you. Does that affect your game plan at all going into the match?
No, not at all. Ryan and I know each other quite well, and all respect for each other.
That was evident during the match, actually, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's both ways. And if you do catch a glimpse of that, I think it was a big tree behind the grandstands there, and it was it was very difficult. But look, personally, I think both of us it wasn't the quality sort of match that we wanted to produce, but we both kept focus and just done what we had to do and what we had to work with. I think in my post-game interview, I was asked that question as well. And I basically, I might not get the words right, but it was basically, I basically said, look, I will focus on myself only and he can worry about himself.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. My focus is completely on me, and that's the way I've always trained myself. He can worry about what he needs to do. I'm not interested in that.
Yeah, no, beautifully said. And you get out there, second end, you've got a nice little opportunity to play a little runner there that pops a bowl out of their head for a couple, and that sort of starts a little roll for you early in the match. And getting that little runner, that gets the confidence going.
Can't remember that one, Clive, but look, I did feel throughout the entire match, I think, and I did build a little bit of a lead, but I always felt like I was going to win that match. Even though it was quite dramatic in the end.
Yes.
but that's what you expect with a world-class player at a World Championships. People, and Ryan would have expected the same. If he had built a lead, he would have expected me to, once that desperation kicks in, you become quite dangerous, you know. And he would have expected me to make a comeback too. So it wasn't expected, and it wasn't a case of me just taking my foot off the throttle and trying to cruise because I was so close to the finish line. I maintained what I was doing. He lifted and started to get, like, the quality wasn't quite as, like I said before, what we didn't want to produce, but given the conditions, he just got that one in there. It's not like he was getting threes and fours and I'd collapsed. He just fought his way back in, and that was expected, mate. And in the end, it turned out to be a great spectacle.
Certainly did.
A great finish, a great final, yeah.
I mean, you had the lead at 17-6. That's what you're referring to, and of course Ryan comes back, and there'll be plenty of people watching that will have been in that same situation themselves. And sometimes the mind starts to race a little bit. It's about keeping your eye on what you're doing, and of course it ended up 19 all, and then you've got the opportunity to pop that bowl out of the head. I bet you remember this runner, but you know. When did you decide, yes, I'm going the bowl? I mean, I guess you confirmed maybe that you had the 3 seconds to be able to confidently play that shot.
The 3 seconds with the conditions, I believe the jack was, because there was so many games played at that stage on that particular rink and it hadn't moved. It was very difficult to get to the centre line on the draw. I had 3 attempts and I had mine. Well, I can't remember how far away they were, but there was 3 there, and Ryan had 3 attempts and he had a couple. I think that obviously they were outside mine, and I'm a pretty confident driver. Saw the bowl. I can remember this vividly. I was walking up to the mat at the other end, and in the crowd started the Aussie Aussie chant. Okay, now consciously I acknowledged that, but I just kept in my bubble and kept my focus on where it needed to be. It just went through my everyday routine, nice and relaxed, and played the ball. As soon as I released the ball, I knew I had the ball. It's about midway down. It started to deviate, and I still knew I was going to get the bowl. But the thing that was going through my mind at that point was, for God's sake, don't come off the bowl and do something silly and get the
Yeah.
jack or
Yep.
something like that, you know. But when the bowl was removed and the bowl scattered around a little bit, and Ryan extended his hand, the first emotion I felt there was closure. Really, it was a closure, and I kept the. No, I'm not going to lie. There was a bit of relief there as well, obviously. But the first emotion I can remember was closure. And once again, to my career.
Yeah.
And I kept the moment of acknowledging what I'd just done, because my eye wasn't just on winning that match. It was the ultimate to win the three, to hold the three titles. I kept that moment for when I was called up onto the dais, and that's when I kind of personally acknowledged what I just achieved there. Yeah.
Amazing. And isn't it interesting? You rip that bowl out, and we hear you yell "hold" as it's about to get it, you know. And fast forward to the most recent Commonwealth Games, and Ellen Ryan did exactly the same thing to win a gold medal. I don't know whether you saw that, but
I did. Yeah, I was watching.
Very similar occurrence.
Yeah. It's an amazing. Look, it's great to when you win a major singles event like that, but when you have the opportunity to actually play the winning bowl, it's a special moment. That's a special moment. You know, I mean, we're all players and we all want to do our best, but if you're standing down the other end and you're hoping the opposition misses, it just doesn't quite have that. But when you have the opportunity to play the bowl to win, that's special. Yeah.
Now, did it turn out to be the last game you played for Australia? I think it did, didn't it?
It do
you take the opportunity to reflect? Do you take the opportunity to think back at what you achieved? I mean, a triple crown of world singles titles. There's not too many people that can say they've done that. And what a remarkable achievement. Do you take that opportunity at times to sit back and reflect?
I'm not one to talk about it too much.
No, you are a modest guy. I certainly know that. Yeah,
I've sort of moved on and wanted to do some different things in my life. I've just joined a little club called Auckland Bowling Club, which is the oldest club in the Southern Hemisphere. Probably, I don't know how many members they have, probably about 20 guys, you know, and I'm down there. It's a great atmosphere, and I'm just having a little play with them on a rare occasion, to be fair. But with the hope of trying to attract some other players to the club as well. But I keep myself busy. I do, you can see on my hat, Leif Selby Skills Training Academy. So I do some freelance training and stuff around North Island. It's generated a lot of interest. I'm still involved, just on the playing terms. Lisa plays at a club called Carlton Common. There's a little fella there. He's from Melbourne, but he was a greenkeeper, and he kind of kept on to me to have a game with him. So I had a game with him. I played the club pairs, and we went on to the Auckland Champ, and we went on and won the New Zealand Championship pairs.
Oh, brilliant!
He was, mate, and he was in tears. You know, it was a special moment, and he kind of inspired me. And people don't realise that I need to be inspired too, because expectations from other people are still there. Oh, that's that guy there. I remember him from years ago. You know what I mean? But I don't have the expectations of myself. But and because of that, I feel as though I'm playing as good as I was back in the day. You know, I can just turn up, and I tend to no pressure or anything, and I'm actually seem to be playing quite well. And then we played again the next year, and we took it out again the next year, and I said to him, "That's it, mate. I'm too old for this type thing, you know." So you've got two national titles now, and on your way, you little bugger. You know what I mean? So he's a great fella, and it was a special moment for us both. For him to win them, like I said, he was kind of in tears, and he really inspired me. And a lot of people don't realise that I need to be inspired as well.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Look, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you, Leif. You're an absolute legend of our sport. There's no doubt about that, and it's been fantastic to go down memory lane and remember such a remarkable achievement 10 years on. Really appreciate your time. Thanks, Leif.
Yeah, it was, Clive, and I really appreciate it too, that memory lane trip, as you said, and thank you, mate, for the acknowledgement, the recognition. I most appreciate it. Have a good Christmas, mate.
Thank you. Beautiful. Leif Selby, everyone. Thank you.